Hi, everybody, it's Josh with Talk About Trek, and we're back again to talk about. Yes, that's right, it's a Star Trek book. We're going to talk about a Star Trek book today. We have finished up book number 6 in the very exciting New Frontier series. This has been Fire on High, of course, by Peter David. The New Frontier concept by John J. Ordover and Peter David. Anyway, we finished up Fire on High. I dawdled on this one, man. I was dawdling like a maximum dawdler. And it wasn't because I didn't like the book. It was just because there's so much other stuff going on. So, started it on the 1st and finished it today. So 10 days, I guess. Not too bad. But, I actually probably could have did it much quicker if I had not dawdled. Yes, that's obvious. I'm saying things that are obvious. Like, water is wet. So anyway, as you can see here on the cover, we've got Commander Shelby, I believe Soletta. Wait, no. That'd probably be Dr. Solar, right? Wait, who was on the last one? Oh boy, see now look what we've got ourselves into. Anyway, and that is Zach Cabran, of course, the Bricar. Looks pretty cool, but I do like the Prodigy look that they brought in for the Bricars. Very cool. Anyway, let's get into the book a little bit. We won't get too crazy on this one, but let's just kind of talk about it and where it went, because it didn't go where I was expecting it to be honest with you. From the cover, a single weapon may doom a planet. And I think there's a bunch of kids' toothpaste on the cover of my book here. I don't know if you can make that out. Yep, there, you can see that there. I'm not sure how that happened, but, if you have kids, you understand how these things can happen. Fire on High. Let's see. From the universe of Star Trek The Next Generation, Star Trek New Frontier, the continuing voyage of the starship Excalibur. On the planet Armista sits a nameless woman. High upon a mountain, she is cradling a weapon unlike anything the Armistans have ever seen. She rocks back and forth on her haunches, singing softly to herself. The weapon is her only company on the planet, since everyone else is little piles of ash. A weapon that could destroy life on one planet could do so again. Lieutenant Robin Leffler's mother died in a shuttle explosion 10 years ago. So, is the woman being held prisoner in Thelonian space really Robin's mother? If so, what is her connection to the mysterious woman holding a weapon that could doom entire worlds? With the lives of billions at stake, Robin Leffler, Captain Calhoun, and the crew of the USS Excalibur must find answers before time runs out for them, and for the struggling remnants of the once great Thelonian Empire. Whoa. Well, a lot going on that back cover, man. That is a mouthful. Anyway, and it's indicative of what's going on in this book too, because in this book there is a lot going on. And I kind of feel like I've been on this ride the whole time. And it's like I'm enjoying these characters, and I'm enjoying like their interactions, and they're kind of growing with each other and all that. But I feel like this story is just kind of like, I don't even know how to describe it. I just want one whole and complete New Frontiers story with a beginning and an end. And so far, I really haven't got that through like 1 through 6. I feel like I've been introduced. I've been introduced to the crew. I've been introduced to this sector of space. And then they're given these little adventures here, little adventure there. But I feel like the big action, the big story, is yet to come, right? And I think that actually is probably what's going to be coming up. And like, maybe that was the whole idea, that the first 6 books, they kind of like laid the groundwork for everything else that's yet to come. And what happens from here gets crazy, gets big and crazy. So that's kind of what I'm thinking is going to happen. But again, I liked what I read. It was very interesting. There was a lot going on. I've never probably read the word lover as much as I did in the first chapter of this book. He really likes the word lover. Well, she likes her lover. Anyway, it's a bit strange, The start is kind of a bit strange, but it kind of just, everything kind of does come together in the end. And I gotta tell you, I did not like the Prometheans. I felt that they were, I don't know, like kind of poorly explained and just underwhelming when they came in, right? Maybe they were supposed to be, I don't know. I guess I didn't quite get the, I don't know, maybe what he was going for with them. I actually felt that the whole, I don't know, I guess kind of like the science of it, where they're trying to figure out what's going on with the, what happened with the cave, Antier's cave, down on that planet and all that. That was actually one of the better part of the books, I think. And I think just also just the characters too, having fun with them. I didn't particularly like the whole Morgan Primus storyline because I felt like it was just like, I don't know, just kind of weird and tacked on, and like we already have all these great characters. What do we need this additional one for, right? But again, I think it seems like we're building. We're building towards something else. That's what this whole 6 books have kind of felt like. So, but there was a lot of very, very fun stuff in this. So, without getting into, well, if you don't want to be spoiled, you can leave now. Now I'm just going to kind of rant and rave for 10, 15 minutes or so about what I remember of Fire on High here. So again, like I said, it starts out and you have this, and we'll go right to it actually here, because there's so much. But basically, let me find the initial description. There's a woman, and she is on a planet alone, and she is clutching this weapon, for lack of a better term. She calls it her lover. Her lover is sleek and gray, vaguely cylindrical in shape, but with a variety of sections branching off in an assortment of directions. Its sections are inserted directly into her nervous system at a dozen points. In a way, her lover looks like a great thorny bush with limbs trailing off and intertwining with one another, and ultimately all the branches coming back to her. Right, so, right, that's kind of weird. Like, she's connected to this, and when I pictured it, I kind of connect, this giant metal kind of bush, very like, kind of like Geiger-like, kind of attaching to like her spine, and very creepy looking, that's the impression I got. Well, anyway, she is aware and able to detect any kind of life on this planet, and as soon as she detects it, she destroys it. And that's what she's done to this entire planet here, right? So then the rest of the story picks up where you kind of have this two-pronged thing. I think at the end of the last book, they found out that Robin Leffler's mother was being held by the Mamidiums, and I'll get into the Mamidiums because the Mamidiums were very fun for me, and I wish I'd kind of spent more time there, right? And then the other kind of big part of it is trying to dive into the mystery of the last book, with everything that went down with Antier's cave. So Soletta is down on the planet, still kind of doing her scans of the area, and then Robin Leffler gets the news about her mother, and she wants to leave right away, and talks to the captain. The captain says, "Well, we'll leave when she's done." So then you have a very interesting scene next, and I really like Soletta. I think she's probably one of my favorite characters to come out of these books so far. But anyway, she has a great scene where she's scanning, and she kind of gets pulled into the whole advanced mechanism, right? She actually gets the dirt or the sand becomes porous, and she kind of gets sucked right through it, and then it becomes solid again. And now she's like inside of this device, this weapon, I guess it could be too. But when she gets in there, the thing kind of rejects her, and she's down there too with I love this guy, Janos, the Mogatu, security ensign, right? The security escort. So anyway, I won't go into too much about what she gets into down there, but basically the machine rejects her and decides that since she kind of knows about it now, the machine has to self-destruct. So like this happens, and I feel like, man, not a lot of it is explained as to what this is and why it is. And maybe that happens later. I don't know. But she runs for the exit, and up above on top of the, at the earth level up there or whatever, ground level, Janos is blasting through with his phaser, and they make an exciting finish where he blasts through the roof, pulls her out of there, they get away just in time, and they beam up back to the Excalibur. But she does find this disc, which was kind of like inset into the ground, and that is, it has like the symbol of a flame on it, and that was something from the last book too. All right, so that's now that part of the story is done, and then we can dive on to whatever the next part is, which is this part kind of made me laugh. So now we go to Morgan Primus, and I think the name is ridiculous too, Morgan Primus. Like, she sounds like she's a Transformer, Morgan Primus. Anyway, Morgan Primus, the Transformer, she is trapped or imprisoned, but in like a nice place in this planet. She was trespassing there, and she's been there for something like 5 years. And there's a fun little scene between her and her jailer, and I love that these guys. The Mamidiums are basically slug people, right? And there was a particular episode of Futurama, and that it brought to mind. So if you guys remember that's what I was thinking too. And they have fantastic names. The guy that she's talking to is named Curdwobble. Curdwobble with a K. I love it. That's a perfect name for a slug being. Curdwobble. But anyway, I wish there was more. There's like this much of that. And they didn't like that. I wanted like more of that. They should have thrown some little adventure in there, But basically, what happens is the Excalibur comes to free her in exchange for helping out the Mamidiums with some basic things that they need. And Morgan doesn't want to go at first because she knows that Robin is there on the ship. So there's this whole kind of thing between the two of them, which I don't know. It feels like it was not, built up enough to take up as much space in this book as it did, for me at least. But that was kind of the main thing going on, this, why didn't you tell me you were alive? Why did you abandon me? And it gets even crazier. Okay, let me consult the old notebook. I didn't do too bad. Look, I took some notes, but then I didn't finish my notes. And then I couldn't find my pen, and my kids, they took all my pens. I have a desk here, and I got this whole big area. I got 0 pens. And I didn't want to get up to get one. So, that's that. No pen right now. I'll deal with it. Anyway, they leave Mamodium. I wish they would return. I want more Slug People adventures, right? And oh gosh, there's so much going on in this book. So, in addition to that, you have, let me get my notes back out again. You have the Burgoyne-Solar relationship that's going on, and Solar wants to end it. Now, she's pregnant. The Ponfar was successful. She's pregnant with Burgoyne's child, but she doesn't want to continue or maybe she does want to continue the relationship. So you got this kind of will they, won't they thing going on between them. Burgoyne's running off to McHenry. So there's a lot of like side threads that are going on in this book, right? There was a fun scene here as they're heading to the next planet. Morgan Primus gets a chance to escape and almost makes it, but doing so would cost Siswan his life, right? So because of that, she's unable to do it. And that's kind of like a character moment for her, where she's like, I could have escaped at his risk of his life, but I didn't, So, anyway, she's a transformer. Transforming robots in disguise. Oh gosh, there's a tentacle coming out of the warp engine as well. So anyway, what happened is when in the previous series, the planet Thalon exploded and this giant great bird of the galaxy came out, it left a baby in the Excalibur, right? And now that baby, and they've been kind of like they've been taking notice, like, oh, there's a baby in there. No, well, they power spikes, something like that, and then all of a sudden a freaking tentacle comes out of the warp core, and then it grabs onto this dude who they've slightly built up with this little story with him and this lady and this ring and stuff, and then it pulls him in there, and frickin' he gets like shredded in half of his body inside the warp core, and then the lady's still like holding his hand. This book is all over the place, I'm telling you. Like what? All right, hold on. We're gonna flip through here to make sure we're not missing anything else. We're not even at like the really crazy stuff, and it's already really crazy. I did like that Zach Kebron like thanked C Swan. I thought that was pretty cool. Didn't want to be like in his debt, you know. My gosh, the tentacle. Oh, that was a tentacle section. All right, so that was about halfway through. See, look, we still got that was more than halfway. We still got that much going on. Anyway. How did this even get to this point? This is very convoluted. I'm sorry. It is. Alright, anyway, they decided that they had to go to this planet. The planet where everything started here, this All-Theris or whatever, where the lady and her lover are blasting everything away. They got to go to that planet because Morgan Primus, her and her partner in the past, Torella, they were searching for the Prometheans. They've been searching for the Prometheans. And Morgan Primus has a secret that she wants to tell her daughter that no one's going to believe. She's a vampire. Or, I don't know. She's immortal or something. She can't die. So apparently she can't die. I don't know. She can't die. She's been around for centuries and is looking for the Prometheans for some reason. Like, what? Like, what? This book is crazy. Like, okay. Alright, so anyway, she can't die. She's an immortal, possibly a vampire, possibly a transformer. But she knows where to go, and that is to this planet where her friend and her lover are blasting everything. So they set course for that planet. Morgan Primus also reveals that she has a matching disc that goes with the disc that Soletta found in Antyr's cave, right? All right. And the more I talk about this, the more I'm like, man, this is all over the place. I mean, I had fun, but man, this is really all over the place, isn't it? And we haven't even got to the Prometheans yet. Anyway, they do get to the planet, and they, man, this part was kind of weird too. So they beam down, and they hear the lady singing, and she's holding her lover or whatever, and they go up and they talk to her, and they have like an emotional moment between her and Morgan and Robin, and eventually they kind of distract her enough where Zach Kebron, or I think C-Swan, comes and knocks her off of her thing. And to this point, the weapon ceases to be a big giant thing with branching things everywhere, and it's more just like a freaking little gun or something, right? So I don't know, maybe it transformed. I'm sorry, I'm having fun with this Transformers thing. Anyway, they knock her off of the thing, and then she kind of comes back to herself and realizes what she's done, and that basically when she found this weapon, her and the weapon destroyed every life form on the planet, right? So now she's like beside herself, and she's like, oh, I want to die, and then the weapon kills her. It's like the final wish. It vaporizes her. So anyway, she's dead. They notice on the weapon that it's got some discs in it, or some disc indentations, so they can insert their discs into those indentations, right? So they're going to do that, and they do it, and then all hell breaks loose. So yeah, anyway, it just gets crazier from here. The ship falls under attack, like the weapon fires on the ship. They barely make it through, and then all of a sudden, the Prometheans show up. And their arrival is described as like, all of a sudden, a Dyson sphere kind of just sidesteps into space, right? So this gigantic ship. But then all of a sudden, this weird big dude who just talks like a 1930s human guy is on the bridge, kind of walking around, talking with everybody. Just being just being a bit of a jerk, really, right? And then he's like, well, I can save you, but you gotta beg, like you did on the Grissom. Oh, what happened on the Grissom? We'll find out someday. Anyway, Calhoun is going to have none of that. He takes Soletta. They go down to the engine room, where I forgot to tell you, but currently Dr. Solar is mind melding with the Warp Core. She just felt urged to do that. Trying to reach that being. Captain Calhoun figures, if we do like a triple mind meld, I can talk to him and we can get him out of here. So that's what they do, triple mind meld. He clears his mind and he's able to kind of make his point known, show this creature where he came from, and that he can go ahead and leave, right? So then it works. Yay, the creature leaves. But then the Prometheans immediately pick up the creature. And then Calhoun's like, no, you can't keep that creature. The creature needs its freedom. And then the Prometheans are all like, well, if that creature leaves, it's going to blow up a planet right away. And then Calhoun's all like, well, I guess you can keep it. Oh, seriously, that's how it ends. But anyway, and then they say, well, if that creature had left, you know what would have happened? It would have went and blown up the Redeemers planet. And now the Redeemers are coming for you. So I'm like, oh, come on, Peter David. Stop setting up the next book and just give me a book. No, it's fine. It was actually fun. I had a lot of fun with it. And as you can tell by the fun I'm having here talking about it, it was a very ridiculous thing. All right. The immortal Morgan Primus, the Transformer, the freaking little MacGuffins, the little discs, man, the weapon changing size, the weapons not really even mattering in the end. The Prometheans, I scratch my head at these guys. I'm really more interested in. I thought this book would have been the kind of the big follow up from the last, where they finally meet up with the Redeemers and they got to deal with that. But I guess that is yet to come, right? Not for me, not today. Anyway, Fire on High was a lot of fun. Very silly. A lot of weird stuff going on. But it's got enough fun characters and fun moments. And I'm honestly, at this point, I'm 6 books in. I'm invested. I'm fully invested in the New Frontier saga. But after 6 books, I have to say it is definitely time to move on to something else. So check this out. Here's what I was thinking. Just to kind of continue, and I like how this worked out too. The New Frontiers stories, okay? If you want to do like the proper reading order of them, the next one to read would be the Captain's Table, Once Burned. Yes! Alright, so that gives me a reason to finally jump into the Captain's Table. And that is I think a 6-book series, maybe more. And I've never had a chance to get into it. So that's right, tonight we're jumping right into book 1. So it's going to be good to get back into Kirk and Spock and Picard and Riker, Janeway, Sisko, all those people, because we've been in the Lonian space since the beginning of November. So we're going to go back, have a little fun with the TOS crew. And this is not a big boy here either. So I think we'll be biting into this and taking a big bite, and hopefully back real soon to talk about it. So anyway, boy, that was fun. As always, my friends, live long and prosper. We'll see you guys in the next one. Good night.